They say when your word ends, you'll feel it coming. A rumble under your feet. A crack in the sky. Some kind of warning. Mine didn't come with thunder. No earthquake. Just the microwave beeping at 7:13 p.m. on a Tuesday, reminding me my frozen dinner was ready. I remember that because I stood there, spoon in hand, staring at the steam rising from the plastic tray like it had something to tell me. Broccoli and chicken in sauce that tasted like cardboard, but I ate it anyway. Habit. Routine. The things that keep a man going when he doesn't know he's already broken. Her car wasn't in the driveway when I got home. Not unusual. Sarah worked late sometimes, account manager at that insurance firm downtown. She said she was closing a big deal. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We'd been married 11 years. 2 kids. Mortgage. Dog. The whole damn American dream wrapped up in a 3-bedroom ranch with a leaky basement and a lawn I mowed every Saturday like clockwork. I kissed the kids goodnight. Emily, 10, already buried in some fantasy novel about witches and wolves. Jake, 7, still clinging to dinosaurs like they were real and might come back if he just believed hard enough. I told them I loved them. Same as always. Same as every night. Sarah came home around 9:45. I heard the crunch of gravel as her SUV pulled in. Headlights swept across the ceiling in the living room. I didn't look up from the game. Some playoff baseball. Yankees versus somebody. I wasn't even rooting for either team, I just liked the rhythm of it. The crack of the bat. The crowd noise. Something familiar. She walked in, dropped her bag by the door, kicked off her heels. Smelled like perfume and city air. Expensive. Not the kind she usually wore. Hey, she said, leaning down to kiss the top of my head. Her lips were cold. Hey yourself, I said. Dinner was crap. Kids are asleep. Games boring. She laughed. It sounded tired. Or fake. I couldn't tell. Maybe both. I'm wiped, she said. Big meeting tomorrow. Think I'll go straight to bed. Need me to heat anything up? No, I ate with the team. That was new? Team. I asked. Who's left at the office that late? Oh, you know. Brad, Lisa, couple others. We celebrated. Celebrated what? The Henderson account. Remember? I told you about it. I frowned. You didn't mention celebrating. She shrugged, already halfway up the stairs. Guess it came together last minute. Sorry. And just like that, she was gone. I sat there another half hour, watching the game wind down. Then I turned off the TV, locked the doors, checked the kids' rooms, one hand on each doorknob, easing it open just enough to see their chests rise and fall. My ritual. My silent promise. When I got upstairs, Sarah was already in bed, facing the wall. The lamp on her side was off. The sheets were cool where she lay. I brushed my teeth, spat, stared at myself in the mirror. Mid-40s. Gray creeping into the temples. Tired eyes. A face that had spent too many years smiling when it didn't mean to. I climbed into bed, careful not to jostle her. Lying there in the dark, I thought about nothing. Just the hum of the house. The old furnace kicking on. The distant wail of a siren somewhere down the road. Then I smelled it again. Not perfume this time. Cologne. Not mine. I froze. My breath caught. I turned my head slowly toward her. She was still. Breathing slow. Pretending to sleep. I leaned closer, just an inch. Yeah. Definitely not my scent. Something sharp. Woodsy. Expensive. The kind of stuff guys wear when they want women to notice them. My stomach twisted. I wanted to wake her. To ask, whose cologne is that? Why weren't you really at work? Who were you with? But I didn't. Because part of me already knew. And another part, the bigger part, was terrified of the answer. It wasn't the first time. I'd seen the signs before. Little things. Offhand comments. Missed calls. Text she'd quickly lock when I walked into the room. Laughter in her voice when she was on the phone with someone I didn't recognize. But I dismissed them. Every damn one. Marriage isn't perfect. People drift. Work gets busy. Kids pull you in 10 directions. I figured we were just tired. Still. No more. So I bought her flowers. Took her out to that Italian place she liked. Planned a weekend getaway. Anything to spark it back. And for a while, it worked. She smiled more. Hugged me longer. Even initiated sex once or twice, something that hadn't happened in months. I thought I'd fixed it. Turns out, I just made it easier for her to lie. The breaking point came 6 weeks later. A Friday. Rain hammering the roof like it had a grudge. I was home early, had a dentist appointment. Sarah was supposed to pick up the kids from school, but she texted at 2:47 saying she was stuck in a meeting and could I handle it. Sure, I said. No problem. I swung by Emily's school first. She was waiting under the awning with her backpack, hood up, stomping in puddles. Dad. You're early. Surprise, I said, opening the door. Where's your brother? He's in aftercare. Mrs. Klein said you'd come. Yeah. Let's go get him. On the way to the elementary school, Emily chatted about a science project and how Jake had thrown glue at Marcus during craft time. I laughed, nodding along, thinking about picking up burgers for dinner. When we got to the school, I packed and went inside. The aftercare room was loud, kids screaming, toys flying, a TV blaring some cartoon about talking animals. I spotted Jake building a tower of blocks in the corner. He looked up, saw me, and lit up. Daddy. He ran over, arms wide. I scooped him up, spinning him once before setting him down. You miss glue throwing day, he said solemnly. I'll survive, I said, ruffling his hair. Just then, the front door opened. And there she was. Sarah. Walking in with her purse slung over her shoulder, umbrella dripping water on the floor. Our eyes met. Hers went wide. Like she'd seen a ghost. Or been caught. What are you doing here? I asked. She blinked. I thought I'd surprise them. Bring cupcakes. We already picked them up, Emily said, stepping forward. Daddy got us. Sarah's smile was stiff. Oh? Right. I forgot you had the afternoon off. You didn't forget, I said quietly. You told me to come get them. Her face flushed. I must have mixed up the days. Sorry, sweetie. She crouched down, hugging the kids, handing out cupcakes like nothing was wrong. But I saw it, the tremor in her hands. The way she wouldn't look me in the eye. On the drive home, the kids fought over who got the chocolate cupcake. I stayed quiet. Sarah stayed quiet. For the first time in 11 years, we sat in silence that wasn't comfortable. It was thick. Poisonous. That night, after the kids were in bed, I confronted her. Who are you seeing? I said, standing in the doorway of our bedroom. She looked up from her book. What? You heard me. That's ridiculous. Is it? You weren't at a meeting today. You were at the school. Why? To watch me. To make sure I didn't find out. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, Sarah. She closed the book. Set it aside. I'm not lying. I just wanted to see the kids. At the exact same time I was picking them up. After you told me to do it. Silence. Then, softly, it's not what you think. Oh, I think it's exactly what I think. She stood up, walked past me into the bathroom, shut the door. I waited. 5 minutes later, she came out, pajamas on, face washed, pretending like we hadn't just cracked open the fault line beneath our marriage. I didn't push it. Not then. But I started watching. I followed her the next Thursday. Didn't plan to. Didn't want to. But I called her at 1:15 p.m. said I needed to talk about Jake's school form. Her assistant answered. She's in a meeting. Can I take a message? I hung up. Pulled up her location on the family iCloud. She wasn't at the office. She was at the Hilton on Route 9. Room 412. I drove there like a man possessed. Parked behind the service entrance. Walked through the back hallways. Elevator to 4. Down the carpeted hall, heart pounding like a war drum. I didn't knock. I just stood there, Outside room 412, listening. Laughter. A man's voice. Then hers, soft, giggling. Stop it, someone will hear. I almost vomited. I don't know how long I stood there. A minute. 5. Time stopped. Then I turned and walked away. Back to my truck. Sat there with the windows up, rain tapping the roof, tears burning my eyes. I wasn't angry yet. I was shattered. Like someone had reached into my chest and ripped out everything I thought was real. That night, I didn't touch her. I slept on the couch. The next morning, I called my buddy Mike. You need to see something, I said. Mike was ex-cop. Private investigator now. Knew how to get answers without leaving footprints. He didn't ask questions. Just said, send me her phone number. License plate. I'll dig. 3 days later, he called. It's Brad, he said. Your wife's boss. I laughed. Actually laughed. No way. They barely talk. Check her texts, Mike said. Photos. Emails. They've been at it 6 months. Motel. Lunch breaks. Even a trip to Niagara Falls last month, company retreat, my ass. I went home numb. Waited until Sarah was at yoga. Used the backup password I still had on her laptop. Opened her email. There it was. A thread titled, Weekend Plans, smiley face. Sent from a Gmail account, lucienteski456@gmail.com. Attached, a photo. Sarah, barefoot, in a white sundress, standing on a balcony. Waterfalls roaring behind her. Smiling like she hadn't smiled at me in years. Caption, best 3 days ever. I love you. Sent to, Brad Harrison at Veridian Insurance. Com. I scrolled further. Text. Voice messages. Hotel receipts. Reservations. All of it. Proof. Every word, every lie, every second she spent loving someone else while pretending to love me. I sat there, hands shaking, bile in my throat. 11 years. 2 kids. A house. A life. All built on a foundation of lies. I didn't confront her that day. Or the next. I waited. Watched. Listened. And the more I learned, the more I realized something worse than betrayal. She didn't care. She wasn't hiding it well. She wanted to be found out. Or maybe she just didn't care if she was. One night, I came home early. Found her in the kitchen, texting, laughing at her phone. I took it from her. She gasped. Hey. Give that back. I scrolled. Brad again. Can't wait to hold you tonight. This week killed me without you. Sent 5 minutes ago. I looked at her. You're seeing him tonight, aren't you? She didn't deny it. He's picking me up at 7. For what? A drink. Dinner. Does it matter? It matters to me. She sighed, like I was a child throwing a tantrum. Mark, we're done. You just don't know it yet. We're married, I said. We have kids. And I'm unhappy, she shot back. Have been for years. You're nice, Mark. You're safe. But you're not alive. Not anymore. And neither am I, not with you. I felt like I'd been slapped. So that's it. 11 years. 2 kids. And you throw it all away for, what? A thrill. A promotion. Is Brad giving you a raise if you sleep with him? She flinched. Don't be disgusting. No, you're the one being disgusting. You're cheating on your husband. With your boss. In motels. While our kids call you mommy and hug you goodnight. I still love them, she said, voice cracking. But not me. She didn't answer. That was the worst part. The silence. I moved out 2 weeks later. Took a duffel bag, my tools, my dad's old hunting rifle, just in case, and crashed at Mike's place. Sarah filed for divorce a month after. Claimed irreconcilable differences. Said I was emotionally distant. Said I didn't support her career. Said I resented her success. The judge gave her primary custody. Stability, he said. The children need consistency. I got weekends. Every other. Unless I proved stability. I had a job, construction supervisor. Good pay. Clean record. No drinking. No violence. But none of it mattered. Because in their eyes, I was the wrong party who abandoned the marital home. I became the unstable one. The angry one. The one who might snap. For 6 months, I lived in a haze. Work. Sleep. Repeat. Saw the kids when I could. Brought them gifts. Listened to their stories. Tried to be present. But every time I handed them back to her, it felt like losing them all over again. Then, one Sunday, Emily looked up at me and said, "Daddy, why don't you and Mommy love each other anymore?" I didn't know what to say. So I told the truth. Sometimes grown-ups change. And love goes away. She nodded, like she understood. But then she whispered, "I still love you." I broke. Right there, on the sidewalk outside her school, I cried like a child. A year passed. I got promoted. Moved into a small apartment. Started therapy. Tried dating. Went on 3 awkward dinners. One woman asked if I was over my ex. I didn't know how to answer. How do you get over someone who was your entire life? Who held your hand through your father's funeral? Who screamed in pain bringing your children into the world? Who knew your favorite song, your worst fear, the way you took your coffee? You don't. You just learned to carry the weight. Then, last month, I got a letter. From Sarah. She was moving. To California. Brad got a VP position in San Diego. She was taking the kids. Unless I objected. The letter said she hoped I'd respect her decision and put the children's needs first. Translation, you can fight me, but you lose. And you'll hurt them in the process. I sat there, reading that letter, feeling the last piece of my life slip through my fingers. Emily. Jake. Gone. Across the country. With her. With him. I thought about hiring a lawyer. Fighting. Screaming. Begging. But what would it prove? That I was right. That she was wrong. The court didn't care. The kids, they loved her. She was their mom. She baked cookies. Took them to soccer. Read bedtime stories. I was the weekend dad. The visitor. The one who showed up with toys and left before breakfast. So I did the only thing I could. I wrote back. One sentence. Take care of them. No threats. No guilt. No drama. Just surrender. Now, sitting here in this empty apartment, rain tapping the window like it's trying to get in, I finally understand something. When she cheated. When I left. When I walked out that door with a duffel bag and a broken heart. I thought I was losing her. But I wasn't. I lost me. The man I was, the husband, the father, the guy who believed in loyalty and hard work and doing the right thing, that man died the moment I saw that photo from Niagara Falls. And the man sitting here now. He's just a ghost wearing my face. They say betrayal cuts deep. But it's not the cut that kills you. It's the infection. The slow rot. The way it spreads through your memories, poisoning everything good. I thought I had freedom when I walked out. Turns out, I just lost everything. I used to think grief was something you got over. Like a cold. A bad breakup. A lost job. You hurt for a while. Then time passes. You move on. But grief isn't linear. It's not a road with an end. It's a room. And once you're in it, the door locks behind you. You don't leave. You just learn how to breathe the stale air. After I sent that letter, take care of them, I didn't cry. Not right away. I folded the paper, slipped it into the envelope, put a stamp on it like I was mailing a damn birthday card. Dropped it in the blue box at the corner of 5th and Maple. Watched it disappear into the metal belly like it meant nothing. Then I walked home. Didn't turn on the lights when I got in. Just sat on the couch, the same one I'd slept on during the worst nights after she left, and stared at the ceiling. The silence pressed down on me like a weight. No kids laughing. No dog barking. No Sarah humming in the kitchen. Nothing. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the old building settling. That night, I dreamed about Emily when she was 3. She was running through the backyard in her pink rain boots, chasing bubbles I was blowing from a little wand. She kept squealing, "More. More," and I kept twisting the bottle, sending shimmering orbs floating into the sky. In the dream, I looked down and saw my hands were covered in dirt. Blood, maybe. I tried to wipe them on my jeans, but they stayed red. Emily turned and looked at me. Her smile vanished. "Why didn't you stop her, Daddy?" Then she ran away. I woke up gasping. Heart slamming. Sweat soaked through my shirt. It was 3:17 a.m. I didn't go back to sleep. Instead, I drove. No destination. Just wheels on pavement. Took back roads. Cut through town. Past the school where I'd found her that day. The Hilton where I'd stood outside room 412 like a ghost haunting my own life. Ended up at the park where we used to take the kids on Sundays. The swings were empty. The slide glistened with dew. I sat on a bench, hands between my knees, and let the morning light wash over me. A woman walked by with her dog. Nodded at me like she could tell I didn't belong. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I never would again. 2 weeks later, they were gone. Sarah rented a moving truck. Hired a crew. Packed up the house I had built the deck for, I had painted the nursery in, I had fixed the roof after the storm in 18. She didn't invite me to say goodbye. Didn't call. Didn't text. I found out because Mike called me. "They're loading up," he said. "Trucks in the driveway. Kids are crying." I hung up and drove there. Too late. The truck was pulling away. Emily was in the back seat, face pressed to the window. Jake was waving. At me. Or at the house. I'll never know. I stood in the street, watching them go, feeling like a man watching his own funeral procession. The house sat empty after that. For sale. White walls. Bare floors. Echoes. I went inside one afternoon. Walked through the rooms. Kitchen where Sarah burned pancakes every Sunday. Living room where we watched movies on the couch, her feet in my lap. Stairs where Jake fell and split his chin, blood everywhere, screaming, me holding pressure with a dish towel while Sarah screamed into 911. Upstairs. Their rooms. Emily's wall still had the glow-in-the-dark stars we stuck up when she was afraid of the dark. Jake's closet still smelled like crayons and sneakers. I sat on his bed. Picked up one of his stuffed dinosaurs, a T-Rex with a chewed tail. Held it to my chest. And for the first time since this whole nightmare started, I broke. Not quietly. Not with tears. With sound. A raw, animal scream that tore out of me like something possessed. I howled. Like a wounded thing. Like a man who'd lost everything sacred. I threw the toy across the room. Knocked books off shelves. Kicked the dresser. Then collapsed. Curled up on the floor like a child. Crying so hard I vomited. And when I finally stopped, I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering if God could hear me. If he did, he didn't answer. I stopped going to work. My boss, Joe, a good guy, ex-Marine, called 3 times. Left messages. Finally showed up at my door. Found me in sweatpants, unshaven, beer in hand, TV off, lights off. He didn't yell. Didn't judge. Just said, "You've got 2 weeks. Use 'em. But come back, Mark. Or I'm firing your ass." I nodded. He left a 6-pack on the table. Went back Monday. Back to the site. Hard hats. Dust. Sauce. Men who didn't ask questions but knew pain when they saw it. I worked double shifts. Volunteered for overtime. Anything to stay busy. Anything to avoid the quiet. But no matter how tired I got, I couldn't sleep. Every night, I'd lie in bed, eyes open, heart racing. Memories played like a broken film reel. Sarah laughing at something I said in 2010. Emily's first word, Dada. Jake taking his first steps, wobbling toward me with arms out. Then the betrayal. The motel. The emails. The look on Sarah's face when I told her I knew. I started drinking. Not every night. But often enough. Whiskey. Straight. No ice. Burn going down. Numb coming up. Mike warned me. You're heading down a dark road, brother. Don't let her win by destroying you. She already won, I said. No, he said. She took your marriage. Don't let her take your soul. I didn't answer. But that night, I poured the rest of the bottle down the sink. Didn't pick up another for 2 weeks. Then came the first visit. California. They were settled now. New house. New schools. New life. Sarah emailed, formal, polite, like we were business partners. The kids want to see you. We can do a week in July. Flights are booked. They'll meet you at LAX. No, hope you're well. No, the kids miss you. Just logistics. I printed the itinerary. Stared at it for an hour. July 12th. 5 days. Round trip. I counted down. Not with excitement. With dread. What if they didn't recognize me? What if they'd been turned against me? What if they called Brad Dad? I packed carefully. Toys. Books. Snacks they liked. Photos of us from before. Took the flight alone. Sat by the window. Watched the country stretch beneath me, rivers, mountains, deserts. Felt smaller than I ever had. Landed at 4:17 p.m. They were waiting. Emily taller. Hair longer. Wearing braces. Jake thinner. Quieter. Clutching a new dinosaur. Sarah stood beside them. Brad wasn't there. She hugged me stiffly. Good flight. Long. The kids rushed me. Emily jumped into my arms. Jake wrapped himself around my leg. Daddy. I nearly collapsed. Not from the weight. From the flood. Love. Guilt. Fear. Joy. All at once. We drove to their house. Suburban. 2-story. Palm trees. Pool in the backyard. Nice. Clean. Alien. Dinner was awkward. Chicken tenders for the kids. Salad for Sarah and me. Small talk. School. Weather. How I liked California. I nodded. Smiled. Answered. But all I could think was, this is their life now. Without me. Later, after the kids were in bed, Sarah and I sat on the patio. Fire pit glowing. Crickets chirping. I know this isn't easy, she said. No, I said. It's not. She sighed. I didn't want it to be like this. Then why make it like this? She looked away. You wouldn't understand. Try me. She hesitated. I felt invisible. Like I was fading. At home. With you. Even when you were right there, you weren't there. And Brad, he saw me. Listened. Made me feel alive. I laughed. Bitter. So you destroyed our family because you wanted to feel sane. I didn't plan for any of this, Mark. It just happened. It happened. I said, voice rising. You sent emails. Booked motels. Lied to our children. That's not just happened. That's choice. She didn't argue. Just whispered, I'm sorry. I wanted to scream. To shake her. To make her feel even a fraction of the pain she'd caused. But then I thought of the kids. Sleeping upstairs. In bed with her sheets, her rules, her bedtime stories. I stood. I'm not here for you, I said. I'm here for them. And I walked inside. The next 5 days were the best and worst of my life. Best because I had my kids. We went to the beach. Built sandcastles. Flew a kite. Went to a dinosaur museum. Jake wouldn't let go of my hand. Ate ice cream. Watched cartoons. Read stories. Emily asked me, do you still love mommy? I paused. Then said, I don't love her like I used to. But I'll always care about her, because she's your mom. She nodded. I don't want you to hate her. I don't, I said. I just wish things were different. She hugged me. That night, as I tucked her in, she whispered, "Don't go, Daddy. Stay forever." My heart shattered. "I can't, baby. But I'll come back. I promise." She cried. I held her. Rocked her like she was 3 again. Jake came in, climbed into bed with us. We lay there, the 3 of us, in the dark, silent. I memorized the sound of their breathing. The warmth of their bodies. The way Emily called into my side. I didn't want to leave. But I had to. When the day came, I dropped them off at school. Emily clung to me. Jake said, "Bye, Daddy. Love you." Sarah waited by the car. She didn't hug me. Just said, "They'll email you the next visit." I nodded. Got in the Uber. Rode to the airport. Boarded the plane. Didn't look back. On the flight home, I stared out the window. Thought about what Emily said. Don't go. Stay forever. And I realized something. I wasn't fighting for a marriage. I wasn't fighting for revenge. I was fighting for them. For my place in their lives. And if Sarah and Brad and distance and court and time tried to erase me, I wouldn't let them. Back home, I made changes. Started therapy, weekly sessions with a counselor who specialized in parental alienation and trauma. Joined a support group for divorced dads. Cut ties with people who said, "Just move on," or "Plenty of fish in the sea." Started journaling. Wrote letters to the kids I never sent. Told them stories. Jokes. Memories. Promised them I'd never stop loving them. I also hired a lawyer. Not to fight custody, not yet. But to protect my rights. To document everything. To make sure I had access. Visitation. Communication. Sarah blocked my calls twice. Stopped forwarding school notices. Missed 2 scheduled video calls. Each time, my lawyer sent a letter. Polite. Firm. Per court order, all communication regarding the children must be shared with both parents. She complied. Grudgingly. But she complied. Then, in October, Jake turned 8. I flew out again. This time, I brought a gift. Not a toy. A time capsule. A metal box. Inside, photos of us at the park, a shell from the beach, a handwritten letter from me, a recording of me reading his favorite book, a lock of my hair, Connie, I know, and a small American flag I carried in my pocket during Dad's funeral. I told him, "This is yours. Bury it. Hide it. Open it when you're older. Just know I love you. Always." He hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. Sarah watched from the doorway. Said nothing. But I saw it, something flicker in her eyes. Guilt. Regret. I don't know. But it was there. Winter came. Christmas was hard. I spent it alone. Ordered pizza. Watched a movie. Got a video call at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Sarah handed the phone to the kids. They were in pajamas. Tree lit. Brad was in the background, handing out presents. Emily smiled. "Merry Christmas, Daddy." Jake waved. "Look. I got the robot." I forced a smile. "Looks awesome, buddy." They opened gifts. I watched. Laughed when they laughed. But when the call ended, I sat in the dark, phone in my lap, and cried. Because I wasn't there. I wasn't wrapping presents. I wasn't burning the pancakes. I wasn't part of their morning. And no matter how many calls, visits, or letters I sent, I was becoming a memory. A voice on a screen. A name on a birthday card. Spring. Therapist asked, "Do you still love her?" I didn't answer right away. Then, I don't love the woman who betrayed me. But I still mourn the woman I married. The one who stayed up with me when Mom died. Who held my hand in the delivery room. Who danced with me in the kitchen at midnight. "That's grief," she said. "Not love." I nodded. "But I miss her," I said. "Not the cheater. Not the liar. The us." "That's okay," she said. "You don't have to hate her to heal." Then, in May, something changed. Emily called me. On her own. From her tablet. I need help, she said. What's wrong? I had a dream. About when I was little. You were yelling. Mommy was crying. And then you left. And I couldn't find you. It was just a dream, I said. But what if it happens again? It won't, I said. I'm not going anywhere. Not unless you tell me to. She was quiet. Then, promise. I promise. She whispered, I love you, Daddy. I love you more. That night, I wrote a new letter. Not to the court. Not to Sarah. To my future self. I am not the man who lost everything. I am the man who refused to disappear. The man who shows up. Who answers the phone. Who remembers birthdays. Who loves without condition. Who fights quietly. Who stays. No matter how far they move. No matter how long the silence. I am still their father. And that will never change. I still have bad days. Days when I drink too much. When I drive past the old house. When I see a dad pushing his kid on a swing. I still get angry. Still wonder what I could have done differently. Still blame myself. But I keep going. Because they're out there. Growing. Living. Loving. And as long as I draw breath. I make sure they know I'm here. Not as a ghost. Not as a memory. But as their dad. The one who stayed. Even when everything else left. Time doesn't heal. It just makes the pain familiar. You stop noticing it like a toothache. It becomes part of you, like your voice, your hands, the scar above your eyebrow from when Jake threw a toy truck at your face in 2017. You carry it. And one day, without realizing it, you learn to walk with the weight. That's where I was when Emily turned 13. 13. I still remember holding her in the hospital, minutes after she was born, with this tiny, red-faced thing screaming like she owned the world. Now she was taller than me in heels, wore eyeliner, listened to music I didn't understand, and texted more in a day than I'd spoken in a week. But when she called me on her birthday, the first time she initiated the call since she was 9, I answered like a man catching a lifeline thrown from a sinking ship. Daddy. Hey, baby. I'm not a baby anymore. No, I said, smiling for the first time in days. You're definitely not. She laughed. A real one. Not forced. Not polite. I made a playlist, she said. For my party. Want to hear it? Only if you promise not to play anything too loud. You're such an old man. And proud of it. There was a pause. Then, softer, I wish you were here. My throat tightened. Me too. But you'll come for Christmas, right? If the world doesn't end, yeah. Good. Brad's making his famous lasagna again. It's gross. I laughed. Then I bring burgers. She giggled. Mom says I can't have junk food. Then we'll sneak it. Another pause. Longer this time. I miss you, she said. Not I love you. I miss you. Different. Deeper. Like she felt the distance in her bones. I miss you too, I said. Every damn day. Jake was 16 now. Quiet. Thoughtful. Wrote poetry no one was supposed to see. He played guitar. Badly. But passionately. One night, out of nowhere, he sent me a video. Him, sitting on his bed, strumming a song he wrote. Simple chords. Raw voice. The lyrics hit me like a hammer. You used to read me stories. Now I read them to myself. You taught me how to ride a bike. But I fell down all alone. You're still my dad. Even when you're gone. I watched it 10 times. Then 20. Then I called him. He answered on the third ring. That was really good, buddy. Thanks. You write that yourself? Yeah. It's beautiful. Silence. Then, I don't want you to think I forgot you. I could never think that. I just don't know how to say stuff. You just did. He sniffed. I play better now. You should hear me sometime. I will, I said. Next time I come. Promise. He exhaled. Okay. We talked for 43 minutes. about music. School. His friend Marcus, who moved away, just like I did. When we hung up, I sat in my car outside the grocery store and cried. Not because I was sad. Because I was seen. After 11 years of being erased, minimized, sidelined, he saw me. And he chose to reach out. Sarah called me that winter. Not through email. Not through the lawyer. On the phone. Her voice older. Tired. We need to talk, she said. My gut clenched. Is everything okay? The kids are fine. It's me. I waited. I've been seeing someone. I blinked. Oh? Not Brad, she said quickly. We split up 2 years ago. I didn't react. He wasn't what I thought he was. Turns out, running away doesn't fix loneliness. I stayed quiet. I've been in therapy, she said. For a while now. And my counselor asked me something hard. What? She said, who are you punishing by keeping the father of your children at arm's length? I closed my eyes. I didn't have an answer at first, Sarah went on. But then I realized, it wasn't just about us. It was about control. About proving I could live and be happy. But I wasn't. And I made sure you weren't either. That wasn't fair, I said, voice low. No, she said. It wasn't. Silence stretched between us, long and heavy. Then, I want to make it right. How? I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve that. But I want the kids to have you. Fully. Without barriers. I'll sign anything. Support visitation. No more missed calls. No more excuses. I didn't know what to say. All those nights I dreamed of this moment, her begging, broken, realizing what she'd done. But now that it was here, I didn't feel triumph. I felt relief. And sorrow. Because it wasn't about beating her. It was about winning back my children. I want that too, I said. She let out a breath. Thank you. And just like that, the war ended. Not with fireworks. Not with drama. With 2 broken people choosing peace for the sake of the ones who mattered most. The next summer, I flew out for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Not 5 days. Sarah rented a guest house in the backyard for me. Small. Cozy. Mine. The first night, Emily brought me a blanket. So you don't get cold. Jake left a note on my door, Dad's old flannel. You left it here. Figured you might want it. I held it to my face. Still smelled like her laundry detergent. Like home. Over the next month, I lived their lives. Dropped them off at school. Ate breakfast with them. Helped Emily with her science project, Volcano, Classic. Went to Jake's band concert. Watched movies on the couch. Laughed. Argued. Talked. Really talked. One night, Emily sat beside me on the porch swing. It's weird, she said. What is? You being here. But also, not weird. I smiled. That's how it should feel. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Did you ever hate Mom? I hated what she did, I said. But I could never hate her. She gave me you. And Jake. That's too big to hate. She was quiet. I used to think it was my fault. What? That you and Mom split up. That you left. Emily. I turned to her. Look at me. It was not your fault. Not even a little. Grown-ups make grown-up mistakes. You were a kid. You did nothing wrong. Tears welled in her eyes. I just wanted you to stay. I tried, I said. But sometimes, love isn't enough. Sometimes people change. Or lose their way. But that doesn't mean they stop loving you. She hugged me. Long tight. Like she was trying to pull me back into her life permanently. Near the end of my stay, Sarah invited me to dinner. Just the adults. No kids. No drama. We went to a quiet Italian place. Over garlic bread and wine, she said, I read your journal. I froze. What? In therapy, I started writing letters to people I hurt. People I never apologized to. One was to you. My therapist asked if I'd ever read anything you wrote. So I looked up your blog. I hadn't told anyone I started writing. Late at night. Posts titled things like, What Fathers Lose When They're Allowed to Love from Afar, and The Day My Daughter Asked Me Not to Go. They weren't angry. They were honest. Sad. True. I read every word, she said. And I cried. For hours. I didn't know what to say. I didn't realize, she whispered, how much I'd taken from you. Not just the marriage. But your place in their lives. Your voice. Your presence. I nodded. It nearly broke me. I know. She looked up. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think we could ever be friends? I thought about it. Not as husband and wife. Not as enemies. But as parents. As two people who built something beautiful, even if it fell apart. Maybe, I said. Someday. Not yet. But maybe. She smiled. Small. Grateful. That's enough. I stayed another week. Then came home. But this time, it didn't feel like defeat. It felt like a pause. Because now, I wasn't just the weekend dad. I wasn't the ghost. I was rebuilding. Texting daily. Video calls weekly. Planning trips. Emily sent me photos of her art. Jake sent song recordings. Sarah forwarded school updates. No blocks. No delays. Just connection. Slow. Fragile. Real. 2 years later, I moved. Not to California. But closer. To Arizona. 4-hour flight. Within driving distance. I found work with a construction firm doing commercial builds. Bought a small house. 2 extra bedrooms. 1 for each of them. I painted the walls blue and purple. Left space for their toys. Their books. Their lives. The first time they stayed over, Emily looked around and said, "This feels like home." Jake nodded. Yeah. It does. I didn't correct her. Didn't say, "It's not your home. This is just a place I made for you." Because in that moment, it was home. Not the house. Not the city. But them. Their laughter. Their voices. Their presence. That was home. Today, I sit on my porch. Summer evening. Fireflies blinking in the yard. Emily just got accepted to college, University of Oregon. Jake's applying to music schools. Sarah called yesterday. Said she's engaged to a teacher. Kind eyes. Loves the kids. I told her I was happy for her. And I meant it. Not because I want her back. But because I want her to be happy. Because their mom deserves peace too. Even after everything. People ask me sometimes, do you regret staying? And I always say the same thing. No. Not because the pain was worth it. But because they were. Every sleepless night. Every tear. Every flight across the country. Every letter written and never sent. Every silent scream into the void. It was all for them. And if I had to leave it all again, the betrayal, the loss, the loneliness, I would. Because I'm still their father. And that title doesn't expire. It doesn't dissolve with divorce papers. It doesn't vanish with distance. It grows. In silence. In waiting. In showing up again and again, no matter how many times the world tells you to go away. I used to think freedom was leaving. Walking out the door. Never looking back. But I was wrong. Real freedom isn't walking away. It's choosing to stay when everything in you wants to run. It's loving without guarantees. Fighting without witnesses. Hoping without proof. It's standing in the ruins of your life and saying, I am still here. I am still theirs. And I always will be. This isn't a story about revenge. Or victory. Or even healing. It's about endurance. About the quiet courage of loving someone you can't touch. Of being a father when the system treats you like an option. Of holding on when letting go would be easier. And if you're reading this, if you're the one sitting in the dark, wondering if your kids still love you, if they remember your voice, if they know you're fighting. They do. They know. And one day, when they're ready, they'll find their way back to you. Not because of courts. Not because of lawyers. But because love leaves marks. Even when it's broken. Especially then. So I wait. Not with bitterness. Not with rage. But with open arms. And a heart that never stopped believing. Because in the end, I didn't lose everything. I lost a marriage. I lost a home. I lost time. But I never lost them. And as long as I breathe, I never will.